Richard H. Blake originated the role of Lorenzo in the Broadway production of Chaz Palminteri's A Bronx Tale the musical, and now the stage favorite is reprising the role for the tour. Based on the popular film, directed by Jerry Zaks and Robert De Niro, and featuring a score by Alan Menken and Glenn Slater, A Bronx Tale has been a hit with audiences and critics and is now wowing theatergoers across the country. We spoke with Blake about what he cherishes most about playing the role of Lorenzo and why audiences should seek out this fan-favorite musical. Hi, Richard.
Hello, Ryan.
Thank you for joining me here this afternoon. I'm excited to talk to you about A Bronx Tale. You originated the role of Lorenzo on Broadway, and now you're taking it on the road.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did your journey in A Bronx Tale come to be?
Well, I was working in Jersey Boys on Broadway, playing Tommy DeVito, and this obviously was in the middle of coming up, and the producers are the same producers, and they asked me to come in for A Bronx Tale, and I, having known that it was happening, I was, made sure that my agents were like, make sure I get a crack at this. Because it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I went in, and fortunately it went well. Chaz says that when I left the room, he's like, well, there's my dad. So
couldn't ask for a better honor.
Which was honestly, like, I did not feel like that. When I walked into the room, there was Jerry Zaks, Tommy Mottola, Robert De Niro, Chaz Palminteri, Alan Menken. I walked in, the first thing I said was, well, this isn't an intimidating room, is it? It was. I had no idea when I left what the reaction would be, and fortunately it was positive. So.
Right. I'm happy to hear you say it's one of your favorite movies of all time. What did you think when you found out it was being turned into a musical like this? Were you nervous? Were you excited?
No, I thought it was perfect. It's a great story about family and the relationships between a father and his son, and the struggle that a boy goes through picking his path in life. Being a father myself, was very excited for the story to be told, and when you hear the team involved, you're like, oh yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome.
Right, I want to talk about this team a little bit. I mean, all-stars, A-listers when it comes to these types of projects. What do you think of the score that Alan Menken and Glenn Slater put together for this?
This score is phenomenal. When we all first heard this, we were blown away. One of the great things that they did was really capture the neighborhood and the time frame. The soundscape of the show really makes you feel like you're in the Bronx in 1960 or 68. It's really one of the things that I think sets the tone for the show. Chaz always likes to say that A Bronx Tale is a fable, and who's the best person at writing songs for fables? Alan Menken. Right. And Glenn Slater, obviously, with the lyrics, did a phenomenal job. So that right there, I think, is the perfect fit for this show.
Yeah.
And then working with, legends from both sides, which is Jerry and Robert, has been such a thrill because they work in tandem. Bob is so interested in authenticity and making sure that we really, with film, everything's got to be so realistic, and then you have the theatricality of a musical, and Jerry just brings all of that to life on stage, and he's the master at it.
And not to put too fine a point on it, but you have Chaz Palminteri, who bases the character of Lorenzo on his own dad. You have Robert De Niro in the room, who played Lorenzo in the film. Where did Richard Blake's did your Lorenzo
Yeah, my work was cut out for me, I'm not gonna lie. But I had the luxury of having Chaz really close. We started right from the get-go having a lot of sit-downs and lunches where we would talk about his family, and he was very outgoing with his tellings of how his family life was. And his father was really a wonderful person, and he loved him so much. But definitely that put a little bit more pressure not to screw it up.
You have been involved in this production from the very beginning. A lot of audiences that got to see it here have already fallen in love with the show. What do you know people are going to be thrilled about with this show across the country that haven't experienced it yet?
I think the biggest thing that people are going to be thrilled about is how good the musical is when they've seen the film. People have come to us and said when we come out the stage door, they're like, oh my God, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. I was worried that that it was just you guys were gonna ruin it. They're like, we like this better than the movie.
Right.
That's the best compliment of all, because it is such an amazing movie, and people do cherish it so much that when you hear them say, I was worried and I liked it better than the movie, I mean, what better compliment can you have than that? And so we get to, bring that to the country now, you know, spread it around the country.
And you're no stranger to touring. You've toured before. You know the life. Why was this the right thing to be doing for you? As we were saying, you're a dad. That's not an easy decision to make, you know, to head on the road. But why was this the right decision at the right time?
I feel really passionate about this show and really passionate about the story. This is definitely in my career, which has spanned 30-something years. This one holds a really special place, and I wanted to share it with the country, with the people who hadn't seen it in New York and hadn't seen it on Broadway. And I feel very attached to Lorenzo.
Yeah.
And maybe a little possessive.
You don't want anyone else to have him.
No, but you know what I mean? I do. It's kind of like the idea of not being Lorenzo when there's a production of the show. I don't know. I wanted to continue to tell the story. I wasn't done telling the story, and that's basically what it comes down to.
Totally understand that. And why should people be excited about this company that's been put together for this touring production? You know better than anyone.
Well, there's plenty of people from the Broadway company that are with us on tour. So you're actually getting to see a lot of the Broadway company, and those who are new are absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm blown away in the room. People are going to love this cast. Yeah.
And finally, what kind of audience members do you hope are in those theaters as you go across the country? And what do you hope they're talking about as they exit the theater after seeing this show?
Having done the show for, you know, as long as I have the luxury of knowing what most people say when they leave, and I'm hoping that it just continues that way. But the thing you hear the most is, it made me want to call my dad, or it made me want to call my mom, or it's show at the end of the day is about family, and it affects people very personally, and everyone in some way can relate to this show, and it will move people. It's a really special thing.
Well, you have a lot of lucky theater goers out there. I'm glad you're sticking with the show.
Thank you.
It's a great show. Thank you so much, Richard. Great talking with you.
Thanks, Ryan.